Hey guys, it's Alicia. It is now fall time, which means fall baking. At least it does for me, and I'm sure it does for a lot of you guys too. And with fall baking comes fall spices, pumpkin pie spice, apple pie spice. And I was just getting ready to make both of those up because I'm running low on both of them. So I thought I would just turn on the camera and show you guys how I do that real quick. It is really fast, easy, and it's a more inexpensive way to get your fall spices. Now, I definitely use a whole lot more pumpkin pie spice, but I like to have the apple pie spice on hand as well. It's just a nice spice to have. It's a little bit different than the pumpkin one, a little different flavor profile, so I like to have it as well. But definitely the pumpkin I use a ton of. So let me show you real quick how I do both of these. First up, I'm going to be showing you how to do the pumpkin pie spice. Now, pumpkin pie spice in the fall time is absolutely in everything from coffee to baked goods, and it's just definitely the more well-known of the two and more used. I personally use it in all kinds of recipes, and there are definitely no shortage of recipes out there that call for it. So it's a great one to have in your spice drawer for fall baking time. Now you can make this in a smaller batch or a larger batch if you want. I'm just showing you how I make it in the amount that I make it in when I make it each time. So first off, you're gonna need 8 teaspoons of cinnamon, or 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons, however you wanna say it. Next up, you're gonna need 4 teaspoons ground ginger. Then you're gonna need 2 teaspoons ground cloves and 1 teaspoon ground nutmeg. And that's all there is for the pumpkin pie spice. So to mix up my spices today, I'm using this little crock and a whisk. You could also just use a container with a lid and shake it up. I've done it both ways, but you're just gonna add all your spices together. So I'm starting with my cinnamon, which again is 8 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons. Next up is my 4 teaspoons ginger, 2 teaspoons cloves, and then finally my 1 teaspoon nutmeg. So now I'm gonna just take my little whisk here and I'm gonna just whisk all of that together really well. And that looks good. So now I'm gonna get my container for it. To store these, I'm going to be using these little ball mason jars. They're 4 ounces, and they're kind of the perfect size for these, and they're nice. They're just a nice way to store them. This is typically what I use, but you could use whatever you want to use. These ones have the one-piece lid, which is kind of nice, and I got these specific ones at Walmart, but you can also get them at Target, Amazon, wherever. But again, they're just little 4-ounce ball mason jars. Now you're gonna wanna take a funnel, or in my case, I'm just using this plastic cutting board because I can't find my funnel at the moment. And I'm gonna just turn it into a funnel. I'm gonna place it in my jar here and pour my spices in. Like that. So I'm gonna just put the lid on it, and I will probably label it with a P so that I know this is the pumpkin and not the apple. But that's all there is to it. Now I've got pumpkin pie spice for a while. And as I said before, this stuff is good for so many things. There's so many recipes that call for pumpkin spice. So it's definitely one that's a good one to have on hand. Next up is apple pie spice. Now, while this one isn't as well known or used as the pumpkin pie spice, it definitely is a good one to have on hand for fall and winter baking. And while you're not necessarily gonna find a lot of recipes calling specifically for it, you will see the recipes calling for the spices that are in it. And so it's nice to have this one on hand so you can just use the one spice instead of all the different spices that are in it. Just kind of simplifies recipes by using the one spice, just like the pumpkin pie spice does as well. This one, just like the pumpkin pie spice, you can make in whatever amount that you want. This is just the amount, again, that I usually make mine in. So first off, you're gonna need 4 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoons allspice, and then an 1/8 teaspoon cloves. For the apple pie spice, same thing, I'm just using another crock. And I'm gonna start off with my cinnamon, 4 tablespoons. And then next up, my 2 teaspoons nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoons allspice, and just an 1/8 of cloves. And now I'm gonna just whisk all that together really well. Like that. And then same thing, just pour it into my jar. And there you have apple pie spice. Now again, even though this one isn't used as much as the pumpkin, it is definitely a good one. Not only for apple pie, but so many different things. And not just for apple baked goods either. This is one that really you can use in a lot of different things. It's fun to kind of experiment with because it does have, again, a different flavor profile than the pumpkin. This one's more heavily cinnamon based. And that being said, a good tip for this one, if you want to kind of try experimenting with it a little bit in different recipes, is if you have a recipe that calls for cinnamon, most of the time you can sub out with this. Equal parts, so teaspoon to teaspoon. You could sub this for cinnamon, and it's gonna give whatever baked good you're making just a little different flavor profile, a little more depth to it than just the plain cinnamon would. So that's kind of how I like to use this too. It's just instead of cinnamon in a lot of different recipes. But that is it. That is my 2 fall spices. I'm ready to do some fall baking. I hope maybe this helped you guys out a little bit, and I hope you guys try these because again, they're really easy to make and they are definitely cheaper to do it this way than to buy the spice at the store. Most of the time you're already gonna have most of these spices on hand, so it makes making them really easy. But let me know if you guys try these. I would love to hear what you think of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.